In the glorious industrial borough of Soviet Manhattan Grad, where every skyscraper belongs to the people and every web serves the collective, one hero swings through the concrete canyons of justice. Meet comrade Peter Parkeroff, bitten by a radioactive spider during a state-approved nuclear experiment. Now he is Spider Comrade, the people's champion. His mission, not to stop petty criminals or bank robbers. Such capitalist concerns are beneath revolutionary justice. No, Spider Comrade enforces something far more important: ideological purity. My mark sense is tingling. I detect counter-revolutionary sentiment at 3 o'clock. Today's target, Babushka Olga Komplainovich, an elderly woman whose crime against the state was most heinous. She expressed mild dissatisfaction with her weekly cabbage ration. I just said the cabbage was a little wilted, the traitorous woman pleaded in horror. Silence, enemy of the people. Your negativity undermines agricultural morale. Spider Comrade delivered economic justice with the efficiency of a 5-year plan. Babushka Olga's objections wilted faster than her cabbage as he cocooned her in a gleaming shroud of people's silk, her cat and family photos neatly catalogued away as state property. By sundown, she had been escorted through the frost-bitten streets to the New Jersey Oblast Pine Barrens, the frozen forest where dissenters disappeared and re-emerged months later, humming state-approved anthems. In Soviet Manhattan, gratitude wasn't suggested, it was mandatory. For Spider Comrade knows the sacred truth passed down from his beloved Uncle Benovich before his tragic disappearance to the Gulag. Remember, Peterov, with great power comes great responsibility to denounce your neighbors and turn them into the authorities. By day, Peter Parkeroff toiled at the Daily Pravda Bugle, the proud voice of the proletariat and official distributor of state-approved truth. Its towering office block loomed over Upper Manhattan Grad. At the head of it all stood John Jonah Jamesonovich, a man whose mustache was as rigid as his devotion to the party. We need more heroism, he thundered from behind his desk, and less individual accomplishment. The people demand collectivist triumphs, not photographs of one man doing all the work. Peter nodded solemnly, clutching his camera like a loyal soldier. His latest assignment? Capture images of himself apprehending enemies of collectivism for the paper's new morale poster campaign. The web of the state protects you. He did so gladly. Each snapshot of Spider Comrade in action meant another small victory for ideological hygiene. Across the newsroom, Mary Jane Komsomolova typed beneath a fluttering red banner that read, "Glory to the Objective Report." She was radiant in her crimson scarf, a model citizen whose spirit seemed suspiciously spontaneous. Parkeroff admired her from afar, though such private admiration bordered dangerously on individual preference, an indulgence he swiftly suppressed. At home, the halls of his communal apartment echoed with the sound of rationed television and patriotic anthems. His neighbor, Ursula Petrovin, a kindly woman with soft eyes and far too much warmth in her voice, knocked on his door one evening. "I made extra soup," she said. "You work so hard, Comrade Parkeroff. You deserve—" He froze. Deserve. The word dripped with capitalist undertones. Within the hour, he had filed the necessary forms and denounced her to the state. The next morning, the sound of boots thundered down the stairwell, and Ursula was escorted away for bourgeois generosity and emotional deviation. From his doorway, Parkeroff watched with quiet satisfaction. That night, the radio in his kitchen crackled to life. Citizens are reminded to report all suspicious kindness immediately. Peter smiled proudly and poured himself a glass of state-issued milk substitute. And so Peter Parkeroff slept soundly, knowing he had made his block just a little safer from compassion. But even in a city as loyal as Soviet Manhattan Grad, not every mind could be tamed. In the smog-choked alleys of the industrial district, whispers spread of a phantom capitalist, a man who spoke not of quotas, but of choice. His name was Norman Oskov, once a respected industrialist, now branded a class traitor. To the party, he was a terrorist. To the underground black marketeers, a prophet. And to the terrified bureaucrats of Upper Manhattan Grad, he was something far worse, an idea. From his stolen glider, a shrieking, unstable contraption built from contraband alloys, and the remains of decommissioned ceiling fans, the Green Goblinoff rained pamphlets across the city. They fluttered down like capitalist snowflakes. What if, they read, the people could choose what to buy? Citizens gathered the leaflets in horror, clutching them as though they might explode. Within minutes, the Ministry of Truth declared a state of psychological contamination. All copies were burned, all readers were questioned, and Spider Comrade was summoned. "Comrade Parkeroff," boomed the voice of J. Jonah Jamesonovich, "we are under attack by the invisible hand of the market. The people need a hero who can make it a fist." Parkeroff donned his mask without hesitation. The pursuit began. Their first encounter came above the smokestacks of the People's Power Plant number 12. Goblinoff darted through the fog like a green phantom, his laughter sharp and free. "You can't stop me, Peteroff," he shouted. "The market has its own power. The invisible hand will guide us all." Spider Comrade's reply cracked through the night air. "The only invisible hand here belongs to the secret police." Their first clash was brief and inconclusive. Goblinoff escaped and set off to continue his radical campaign for freedom, determined to introduce the works of Ron Paul to the ignorant masses of Manhattan Grad. Then came the ceremony, a glorious celebration attended by the party's Politburo elite, dedicated to the triumph of the 5-year plan, now entering its 27th year. The city's dignitaries gathered beneath colossal banners depicting workers smiling through rations, while officials beamed from marble balconies. The anthem swelled, a brass hymn to mediocrity perfected, and from above, a shadow. Through the clouds roared Green Goblinoff, astride his forbidden glider, laughter trailing like sirens. He hurled bright orange bombs that exploded in plumes of capitalist fire, a cocktail of stolen fuel and pure economic intent. Panic rippled through the Politburo. The ministers clutched their medals as one explosion obliterated a statue of Karl Marx. "Look at yourselves," Goblinoff cried. "You live in cages of concrete and call it equality. You trade your will for permission. You could be free." Then, in the midst of the chaos, Spider Comrade swung into view, red against the smoke, eyes burning with bureaucratic righteousness, ready once again to defend the revolution. But Goblinoff had come prepared. His campaign of sabotage had failed to break the system, yet he believed one man might still be turned. One man whose face adorned every propaganda mural, whose loyalty could move millions. He wanted Spider Comrade. Across the city, his voice crackled through hijacked radio towers. "Peterov, you don't have to serve them. Together we could lead the people to freedom." The signal was cut within seconds, but not before one image appeared on every state screen. Mary Jane Komsomolova, bound atop a tram suspended over the frozen East River, surrounded by frightened children clutching their ration books. "Save her or save them," Goblinoff shouted from his glider. "Show me one free decision, Peterov. Just one." For a heartbeat, time seemed to stop. The crowd below looked up, expecting their hero to choose, as all heroes do. But Spider Comrade merely straightened his posture and gave a crisp salute. "Proceed," he said. Goblinoff hesitated, disbelief flooding his face. But the tram was already falling. Mary Jane's scream was swallowed by the wind. The river accepted them both in silence. Spider Comrade turned back to Goblinoff, calm as a bureaucrat closing a file. He fired a web of crimson silk, wrenching the gobsmacked libertarian from his glider and binding him head to toe. "Sacrifice is the highest form of collectivism," Spider Comrade said. "Their contribution to the revolution will be celebrated for decades to come." He dragged his prisoner through a cheering crowd to the People's Tribunal, where 3 judges and a pre-written verdict awaited. Goblinoff's final words echoed through the hall. "You can't regulate the human spirit." Unfortunately for him, he was regulated out of existence by a firing squad. The next morning, the Daily Pravda Bugle ran the headline, "Capitalist Virus Contained." As dawn bled across Soviet Manhattan Grad, Spider Comrade stood atop a smokestack, his webs glinting like bureaucratic paperwork in the pale light. Far below, the Soviet anthem swelled, joined by the faint rhythm of distant gunfire. And so, comrades, our tale comes to an end. Remember that in Soviet Manhattan Grad, the web watches you. Comrades, it is me, Wally, your humble narrator. If this tale filled you with revolutionary zeal, enlist in the Dreamloop membership program for badges, glorious emojis, and early access to future propaganda. For those craving deeper indoctrination, the Patreon Bureau awaits with secret behind-the-scenes materials. Together, comrades, we keep the revolution entertaining.